Welcome back to Worldview. Now, Andy Chyba is a longtime guest on this program. We seem to have him anytime we have a discussion about hydraulic fracturing or fracking. Now, last weekend, Andy was at Balcombe, which is the site of the quadrilla drilling. And we've been following this for quite some time because a member of the Wales activist team, Frances Jenkins, was arrested while she was down there a little over 2 weeks ago. Her date in court is coming up, but more importantly, Andy's just come back from a weekend spent down in Balcombe, which from here is about a 4-hour drive, so it's quite a long ways from here, showing support. And apparently this weekend there's going to be even more support shown for the people that are protesting against fracturing in Sussex County. Andy Chyba, welcome back to Worldview.
Good morning, Dennis. Good to see you again.
Good morning. Tell me a little bit about your trip to Blackpool. What were some of the highs and some of the low points of it?
Well, to be quite honest, there weren't really too much in the way of lows. It's an inspirational weekend. There was a small group of us from Bridgend. A carful basically went down. We left crack of dawn Saturday morning, got down there mid-morning, just in time. It's good timing, actually, because we got there just at the time where the camp was having its daily sort of meeting to sort things out for the day.
Was there any work done during the course of the time that you were there, or do they pretty much shut down for the weekend?
No, we're told as part of this briefing that they've been given word that there's certainly been no trucks going in and out over the weekend. Having said that, they were clearly working there. The drilling was it seemed to be continuing in fits and starts a little bit, which surprised me a little bit because it's actually technically very difficult to start and stop things. So I'm not quite sure what they were doing exactly. I don't think it was full-scale drilling operation. Woke up in the middle of the night and you thought, well, hell was breaking loose just up the road there. The noise in the still of the night was very, very loud and very, very obvious. So they were obviously doing some drilling during the night there. Not being at all careful, the clang of the pipes and drills and so on was very obvious as well. So, they seemed to have, they certainly weren't having any respect for the fact that there was people trying to sleep just down the road,
Have you seen anything that looked like local planning authorities or government officials attempting to enter the site and inspect what's actually happening?
There was no evidence of that, certainly over the weekend. I mean, basically outside the perimeter is a constant police presence, which seemed to fluctuate considerably. I mean, it's there 24 hours a day, but most of the time, is down to probably, less than 10 police officers in total, and they're obviously well established down there as well. They've got themselves like a canteen van just down the road and stuff like that as well. So there's some issues there. The whole site itself, behind the fences, is crawling with G4S security, which seem to be mostly Gurkhas, ex-Gurkha soldiers, which all with rather bemused looks on their faces most of the time. I mean, one of the highlights of the weekend was the fact that they had a dog handler there who lost his dog, which shows how professional they are. So,
I understand there's a big event planned for this coming weekend with people from all over the United Kingdom, even Ireland and other parts of Europe coming to participate. Tell us a little bit about what to expect this coming Sunday.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame that I'm not sure that I'll be able to get back there again in such short notice. Having said that, we had a fantastic time this weekend. But next weekend is to have a big sort of set-piece march from the edge of the village. Balcombe's got a mainline station, which is less than 10 minutes walk away from the site entrance. Soak up the atmosphere down there. It's a very inspiring place, and I'd encourage as many people as possible to contact the local regions. There's coaches from Scotland, the North East, Lancashire, and as I say, I think there's plans for people to come from Ireland, and perhaps there's a Polish presence there as well at the moment, so they've obviously got a lot of grief with this issue.
Andy, one last question here. One of the issues that always is of concern, if you look at everything from Occupy to, pretty much every protest movement that you see out there, one of the issues is a lack of kind of cohesive organization that ties everything together. How can we bring forward a more organized and cohesive effort that really begins to have the broader impact that it needs to have at the members of Parliament and other areas like that?
That's an interesting question. I think I mean, I think one of the issues we've got politically around this issue is that obviously people like David, the Tory party, David Cameron's piece in the Telegraph this weekend is classic. Is that they're for the most part promoting this. The Labour Party is adamantly stuck on the fence. I mean, the only political party that you'd see down at Balcombe is the Green Party. I mean, so having said that, I mean, I've got I've had long-standing concerns about the fact that as soon as people become aware of the fact that I'm a Green Party activist, there's such a widespread distrust of politics in this party that it's almost as if the wider public aren't particularly welcoming to the fact that politicians want to get involved with it.
It's taking a look at what's the way to bring about real change. I mean, protest is good. It does make a lot of noise. It does make things difficult for those that are trying to do this practice. And if you really want to make changes happen, how can you do it in such a way? I mean, for example, one of the biggest things that's always bothered me about the Occupy movement is why aren't there tables there registering people to vote in the next election, to get them involved, to seize upon this natural activity and turn it into something that can really become a powerful force. I agree Labour's on the fence. I agree the Tories are doing nothing. And what can we do to make this a more politically cohesive group going forward? Because this is just a horrifically bad practice all around.
Well, I mean, the problem is the Green Party, we've got such a relatively small membership base that we are doing exactly what you've described. I mean, a major part of our activity in the run-up to elections and when we can at events like this is exactly what you said in terms of encouraging people and facilitating and making sure they're registered to vote and so on. And of course, that doesn't necessarily guarantee they're going to vote for us just because we've got them registered to vote. It's a challenge. It is a big challenge. What's being talked about regards this issue now is actually single issue candidate standing. I mean, Francis Maud has become he's the MP for Balcombe. One of the worst of the slimy types of Tory you can imagine, and the locals are rising up against him. And it's interesting overhearing some of the locals on Sunday, because they were there in masses, talking about the fact that what's the best strategy for making sure that he doesn't get re-elected and so on. And they seem to be strongly rallying behind the idea of having an anti-fracking candidate, so not a party political candidate. And we've seen that before in Kidderminster with the guy that stood on the Save the Local Hospital platform and actually getting elected. So that's an interesting dimension to it, but it doesn't really offer a sort of more cohesive. We're struggling for that cohesive national approach to it in terms of influencing sort of national policy.
Yeah, it just seems as though you've got a group of people that are just intent upon getting out there with their very passionate statements and very passionate beliefs without the longer view that's required to say, okay, what are we going to do going forward? Anyways, Andy, thank you for joining us. This has been a great discussion as usual, and I'm sure we will continue to have more as this issue continues to grow.
It's my pleasure, Dennis. Have yourself a good day.
He's Andy Chyba. He's a longtime activist against hydraulic fracturing. He's the founder of the Anti-Fracking Network. He also is a Green Party candidate for member of the European Parliament coming up in the next election. You're watching Worldview with Dennis Campbell. Stay right here.